Tonight on World News, nuclear leaks tonight. And Soul Train salute the former policeman who wanted a new group of kids to dance and put the soul in Soul Train.
Come and get some soul. The train is all right.
From ABC News, this is ABC World News with Diane Sawyer.
Good evening. We begin. A true pioneer in the music world is gone. For a generation of Americans, Saturday morning meant the breakthrough show called Soul Train. Today we learned the show's creator, Don Cornelius, who was plagued by health problems, died by his own hand at the age of 75. And ABC's Lindsay Davis has our look back.
Don Cornelius was selling insurance when someone told him he had a great voice. So with $400 to shoot a pilot, he set out to give soul music a voice on TV.
I had a burning desire to see black people presented on television in a positive light.
And Cornelius wasn't just the creator, he was also the writer, producer, and host.
Aretha Franklin.
But it was the dancers, and of course that legendary Soul Train line that stole the show. Some tried to label it the Black American Bandstand, but a reviewer once set them straight, arguing Soul Train was to American Bandstand what champagne is to seltzer water.
Well, it bothered me the first time I heard it, but after I thought about it, I had to be realistic. That's what it was. It was a Black American Bandstand.
35 years in all, 22 with Cornelius as the host, always leaving us with that velvet voice and familiar sign-off.
I'm Don Cornelius, and as always in parting, we wish you love, peace, and soul.
Tonight, the defense change. And his Soul Train helped carry stars to fame, remembering Don Cornelius and that voice.
Love, peace, and soul.
This is the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley.
Good evening. The combat role. Finally tonight, we wanted to take a moment to note the passing of Don Cornelius, the creator of Soul Train. He died today in Los Angeles at 75, an apparent suicide. Bill Whitaker tells us that Cornelius was a TV pioneer with a vision and a one-of-a-kind voice.
I'm Don Cornelius, and as always in parting, we wish you love, peace, and soul.
What they do? Call it soul, rhythm and blues, or urban, Don Cornelius was the man who exposed black music, fashion, and dance not only to an African-American audience, but to all of America's teenagers on TV. Even before MTV, Don Cornelius provided a televised stage for performers to reach a wider audience.
I don't have to introduce any of these fellas. Anybody don't know the names?
The Jackson 5, James Brown, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Aretha Franklin, and Smokey Robinson.
What did he mean to pop culture?
He integrated the culture and gave people of all races to see a positive black image.
Born in Chicago in 1936, Don Cornelius started working as an insurance salesman before enrolling in broadcasting school in the 1960s. After a brief stint as a radio journalist, he pursued his true passion and in 1970 started a TV show featuring R&B acts with $400 of his own money. He was inspired by but wouldn't copy the long-running American Bandstand.
If American Bandstand goes right, we're going to go left. If Dick Clark goes up, we're going to go down.
Don was an innovator, and he created something with Soul Train that had never before been there. He really created something wonderful.
I'm Don Cornelius.
Cornelius hosted the show for 23 years, helping transport black music and style from inner city to mainstream America. The The journey was by train.
And so,
Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
On the broadcast tonight, Going Public, the company's price, and the pioneer who created a Saturday morning tradition and helped transform television and music all at once. Tonight, remembering Don Cornelius. Nightly News begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Wood.
Back in this country, we got word today from Los Angeles that Don Cornelius had died of an apparent suicide. He was the creator and longtime host of Soul Train, one of the longest-running shows in television, period. It was also a period piece, decade by decade, a groundbreaker and a history maker, all of it thanks to its creator.
let's all get together now and style a while.
Don Cornelius invented an American institution. To look back over the long track of Soul Train over the years, you can trace the progression of music, hair, clothes, and how people move. It was a place of celebration, a kind of Saturday worship service that was all about the music.
He struck a chord that no one could compete with. So even though other people got on the tracks, there was only one Soul Train.
Looking back now, especially the shows in the early 70s, it's a vintage time capsule. The fros and the clothes were over the top, and they were supposed to be.
I watched it all the time. That's how I learned how to dance.
In plain English, Dick Clark's American Bandstand was great, but millions felt left out until Don Cornelius arrived, along with that voice.
Let us get it together.
He was a DJ in Chicago, and he went on TV with $400 of his own money and with the basic belief that music and dancing should be fun.
Shows like Bandstand and Soul Train that are based on a genre of music will stay popular as long as the music stays popular.
Cornelius was a mover in the music business as host and producer and mentor. He made a lot of musicians famous, and he made a lot of music more popular.
All of America was able to see these artists that we think of as mainstream today, like Aretha Franklin, the O'Jays, Curtis Mayfield, Michael Jackson. These artists had a platform with Soul Train that they didn't have anywhere else.
His private life was not without its troubles. He was arrested in 2008 for domestic violence. There was probation, there were restraining orders, a nasty divorce, and recently reported health problems.
Peace
and while Don Cornelius was the engine of Soul Train, the featured spot was the Soul Train line. Couples who made it to the line had a few seconds of airtime, and the rest of us watched amazed. It was performance art before we knew the term. And that was Don Cornelius. Don Cornelius gone tonight at the age of 75.